Sometimes Trey's note choices are super strange. So let's check out one of those situations, look at what's really happening, and figure out the best way to apply it to your own playing. So welcome to the debut of the whiteboard. I'm going to see how this goes. But you know, sometimes when you try something new, you think, oh yeah, this will be great. It's going to be easy. I just thought, oh, I'm going to start using a whiteboard to explain, some deeper music theory things. And I thought I'd just set it up, it'd be really easy. But you know what? It actually was a challenge because the lights I have were reflecting on it, and you can't have that. So I had to keep angling it and trying over and over. And it was a little frustrating, but you know what? I got through it. I think it's going to work well. Still won't know till the end of this, but this is just like learning something new. So if this scale is new to you, it can be frustrating. It can be a little challenging to kind of navigate, and we're going to look at a couple ways to make it a little bit easier. And this may seem really unfamiliar to you, but like if you grew up in a culture that listened to music that used these scales, then it's totally normal. So it just sounds a little weird, strange if it's not familiar to you. But this is a scale. It's got a lot of different names. We're just going to call it Phrygian dominant. It's very common in music from places like the Middle East, India, Eastern Europe. It's like the flamenco scale. So you might have heard it used in that, that style and stuff. So what is it? Let's take a step back. We can think of it as a Phrygian scale with a major third, but we're going to take a step back and look at the minor scale. So what is it? Right? Well, let's try it on the whiteboard here. Let's do A minor because it's just got all the natural notes. So A minor, right? We have 1, 2 for scale degrees, a flat third, a fourth, a fifth, a flat sixth. That looks like a six. It's up to flat here, or there we go, better. You also have to, I guess, deal with my poor penmanship, right? And then we have our notes that go along here. A, just going right up. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, right? So that is what they call the minor scale, in this case, the natural minor scale. There are actually 3 types of minor scales. And there's the natural, which by default is just kind of, you call it minor, right? Which is that right there. So we've got our A through G. We got our 1, 2, flat 3, flat 6, flat 7. Those are the characteristic notes, the flat 3, flat 6, flat 7. Now there's the melodic minor scale, and that has a major 6, major 7th. So just the flat third. We're not going to deal with that. Then there's the harmonic minor scale, and that is where we actually have a raised 7th. So that is just a normal one, which makes it G sharp, and that is this note right here, raised here. So, right here, right? So going up. So that is a harmonic minor, and it gives it a real distinct sound. Now, if we play the 5th scale degree, and that is our focal point, so this is the 5th mode of this scale, that would be E, right? And then say we kept going to another E, so that would be the Phrygian dominant scale, and that is what we are working with here. And it's got that unusual sound because most scales are just, every note is going to be either 1 or 2 frets apart, but this one right here is 3 frets apart. This right here, I'm just playing it so you can see it here. So that is the reason number 1 that it sounds so different. It's got that big space in there. Reason number 2, it sounds really unusual. If it's, again, unusual to you, is that you go right from the root up just 1 fret to a flat 2. That sounds really weird. So now we end up with this being the root, right? So now we have, if you do it down here, we've got E, F, G sharp, A, B, C, D, back to back to E, and this ends up being a 1, a flat 2, right? So you're going right away. And then a major third, a fourth, and then going up to a fifth, and then we have a flat 6 and a flat 7. So those are the notes, you know, we're kind of working with. And again, that spot right here is going to be the 3 frets, or you could say 1.5 musical steps right here. And that's the unusual sound. And then this is the second most unusual sound because we're getting that half step there. So hopefully this is all coming through on this board. You can see it. And that's what we're dealing with here. So this is, this is a real different sound. And what we're doing here now is playing it over E. So the example I've been playing with is actually a little clip from a new backing track I made for Mike's song. And this is going to be up 1 fret in F. So let's just hear me play a little example of this, doing it an easy way, and I'll show you what I'm doing, how to simplify this. So again, we just moved it up 1 fret to F. So from what we were doing for our example for E, and you know, this is just playing over, you know, F chord, or it could be an F7, or you can throw in some other fancier notes if you wanted to make it really getting some of those notes in the sound here. But we're not going to get into all that. You can just be thinking of it as, okay, it's a weird or just unusual, less familiar way of playing over an F chord. And this is something that Trey would do occasionally, but occasionally the whole band, usually the whole band is in this situation, the whole band's going into it. And I could give, maybe I'll map out some examples someday. I can't think of others off the top of my head, but from shows, definitely heard them go into this from time to time. So we have got that F right here, right? But say we just do it right here. So what I was doing was just going from here, I'm sorry, right here. So a way to simplify this is to just play it in one position. In this case, it's just 1 octave. Throwing that flat 2 as well. Here's F to F. And just make some music right there. You don't need to know it all over the place because it can take a long time to really get this one down because it's so different from most scales. So just have that one spot and just drill it in so you just know exactly how to play it, and you get, you know, get used to doing different techniques and doing whatever, just being very melodic, you know, with it. So there's another way to simplify it that I think also makes it kind of sound even weirder. So let's just hear how that would sound. So that is doing the opposite of the first way of, you know, sticking to one position, but sticking to one string. You don't have to even know the whole string. Just like say, okay, here's our F. You can really see that leap right, and just get to know it right here, you know. And it's a good way to make it even a little weirder because you can do big leaps with sliding or bending. Or both, you know. So, and of course I'm using a wah in these examples, you know, that just kind of gives it even more of this edge. You can kind of toy around the sound even more. So now we're familiar with the scale and knowing that that big leap is what gives it the distinct sound, plus that minor second right above the root. We also know that we can just keep it simple and stay to just one position, or even just 1 octave, you know, or try it on just one string to really get a unique, you know, kind of approach to it. And, you know, the scale is great for taking things really, you know, out there, but there are many musical situations where it just doesn't really work all that well. So check out this video here where I show you a much easier way that Trey would often take it out.